much did getting playing time last year help you where you're at now?
It really helped in the fact that I know what game speed is, and I think that's the biggest difference from coming from like my first year being a red shirt and then easing in playing on special teams, and then that last year playing a little bit on defense. You get used to game speed, and that makes the biggest difference from what happens in practice and what happens on the game. We practice fast, but also there's a difference between like a fast practice and a fast game. Lining up faster in practice helps us line up to what happens out on the field. And so me being in that situation, I kind of figured out what to do.
How has John Boyette helped you through the process being a leader on this team?
Well, it helps mainly because me and John are really good friends. And so me and John will like go have dinners or something. We'll just meet up, talk about football a little bit. I mean, he eats, sleeps, and breathes football. I mean, it makes it a little bit easier for me when I can ask him some questions that just kind of give me a little bit of trouble, but he already knows the answer. He can give it to me quick. And if you're friends with somebody like that, if he's on the other side of me, then it makes it real easy to communicate and get a lot of things done on the field.
What was your experience last year? It seemed like you were dealing with some injuries too. I mean, you couldn't kind of quite take full advantage of the potential that was there.
Yeah, towards the middle of the season, I hurt my knee a little bit. And that's about all I can say about it. And I missed a couple games, and then I came back a little slow. But towards the end, I got in a little bit. Couldn't really do much about it, being hurt. Like, that's just what happens. But I can't let any injury slow me down this time, so I'm just really trying to stay healthy, get out there and do some work.
So when you come back this spring, do you feel like you're easing back into it after that experience, or were you able to jump right back in?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I healed up pretty quick from it. I mean, I came out here day one running, and that's just really what I can do. I go out there, I try and recover fast from everything. Practices, when they go by, they're hard, but really just recovering is a day-to-day process, and I'm not letting anything like a knee injury from the past bother me. It's not in my mind.
What did you take away from Eddie when he was here and where you're at now?
Well, the main thing about Eddie was he was a real aggressive player. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not, but like he was a really aggressive player, especially coming from that linebacker spot. So one thing I can take from him is he was always a headhunter, and I'm a pretty big hitter, so I just try and take that mentality of his headhunting and try and get over on these offenses, just catch somebody coming across the middle or something. That's just my thing.
Rover's got a cover though too. How do you feel about your coverage skills?
My coverage skills, man, I feel real good about them. We've been doing a lot of great work pre-practice. Coach Neal, the rest of the staff, they've just been helping us get our footwork right. Coming in the spring, like that's when you first starting off football, everybody was a little rusty, but I mean, if we were, so was the offense, So I say we're all on a good level. Coverage skills, I don't think that would be a problem for me.
What's your natural position?
Natural position, I mean, it's easily Rover. I mean, I like playing in space. I like coming downhill, and like it just really seems to fit with me well. So, I mean, Rover would definitely be a natural position for me.
Have you played cornerback? Have you been out on the outside?
I have not, actually. I did a little bit when I first got here, but I've never really played cornerback, so it's always been just safety for me.
The young corners on this team got some exposure, obviously, last season. What are your impressions been of those guys so far this spring?
Well, all of our corners, like any of them can play anywhere, anytime, and we're going to use a lot of them, especially with like other packages. Like our corners, they're really good out in that defense. And so since they're so good, they all got that exposure, we can trust them at all times to do whatever they need to do. And we can count on them to be on the outside when we need to be inside, and vice versa. They know what they're doing, and it makes it real easy for the safeties to come in and just communicate with them.
Who offensively is giving you guys the most trouble right now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's really just more or less like the scheme. Of course, DeAnthony's fast. I know one person in particular, Daryl Hawkins. He's been coming up as quite a receiver. Really just look out for, people like them two. I'd say that those are the two that I cover the most, at least, so that's what I can say about myself. I know Kenyon's been coming out, getting some good bursts from the backfield. We got Josh Hill coming back. Offense, we're looking real good right now.
Thanks, man.
Yep, no problem.